Hey guys! So, I'm super excited about this. Last night I was watching a Periscope. I was watching on Periscope a couple of homeschool moms that I have followed either on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. And they were talking about things. They were getting things ready for their homeschool years and all the fun stuff that we do. And I got to thinking that, there's probably closer to 10, but I'm going to keep it to 5. There's 5 things that I consider essential for my homeschooling day. These are things that I use or I need in order for our day to go well. It's things that I have clearly seen work for us over we are entering our 7th year of homeschooling this year. So I feel like now I kind of have a little bit of authority to speak on what works for me. Now, things change every year. We ebb and flow with how life changes. Each kid is different. What works for one kid doesn't necessarily work for another kid. But these are just, in general, the things that work for me to ensure that we have a successful homeschool day. So the first thing is Google. I have no problem admitting to my kids when they ask me a question, I don't know. There's a misconception that somehow in order to be a successful teacher or a homeschool teacher, you have to know everything. Well, guess what? That's not possible. We can't know everything. And I think one of the greatest gifts we can give to our kids is teaching them how to find out the things they want to know. Because nobody knows everything. Nobody can know everything, but everyone's interested in something. So Google is my friend. I have no problem when the kids come ask me some random question. Like the other day, my son asked me, what is the oldest Boston Terrier that has ever lived? I don't know. Let's go Google it. We Google probably 16,000 times a day. So Google is your friend. Use it. Number 2, again, this is for me. So nobody get nasty about it. You don't need that. Coffee, y'all. It's important. I need coffee. And it's not a, hey, I need caffeine type thing, though I do drink caffeine first thing in the morning. Most of my coffee throughout the day is decaf. I'll be honest with you. And my husband and I are coffee snobs, and I know that it goes against the coffee snob oath, thou shalt not drink decaf. But when we are in a lower carb cycle of our diet, caffeine tends to make me jittery. It doesn't the rest of the time, but it does now. But I love coffee. For whatever reason, it makes me a more productive person. So I need coffee in some shape or form. And I usually have caffeine in the morning, and then I usually have a decaf cup somewhere around midday, and then I usually have another decaf either in the afternoon or the evening. I got no shame. Number 3. This one may seem obvious, but let me explain. I need a plan. And what I mean by a plan is not that I have every moment of our day planned out to the letter. I'm a very loose planner. Now, when I was only homeschooling Austin and Brody when they were younger, when we first started homeschooling, Austin was entering 4th grade and Brody was entering 2nd grade. At that time, it was really easy for me to not have a hardcore plan in place and for me to just pick up where we left off the day before. What I found as we added the younger ones back in and as the older ones got older is I really do need a plan or we get off track. Not off track in necessarily a bad way, but we end up having to we feel like we're playing catch up at the end. So let me show you how I plan quickly because this would take forever otherwise. This is my planner for me. This is the Plum Papers planner. I always plug them because when I was looking for a planner that would work for me, obviously everyone's like, Erin Condren. Now, let me preface by saying, I think the Erin Condren planners are fabulous. They don't work for me because I need custom sections and I need custom categories for my day. So I use this planner for appointments, to-do lists for me, my workouts. I have a section for fitness and workouts. This is where I write down our meals, our meal plan for the week, things like that. So this is my planner. Then I use for my younger 2 who are now entering 4th and 2nd grade, the well-planned day. Most homeschool moms have either heard of or used the well-planned day in some way, shape, or form. The way I plan for Evan and Chase is after we're done with our schoolwork for the day, I go through their books and I write down what we're going to do the next day. I don't plan super far in the future for them. Yes, Allie, I can open up the planner. Which one? This is the well-planned day. It's a very just simplistic planner. It's got a few already filled in categories, but it's some blank ones at the bottom. And I really just write out what we're going to do the next day for Evan and Chase. For my big boys, I actually use Homeschool Tracker online. And the reason behind that is mostly for Austin. Austin is a sophomore this year, guys. He's in 10th grade. So for Austin, we're in the land of transcripts. And I don't want to be playing catch up his senior year of high school trying to write a transcript. Homeschool Tracker, I can keep grades, I can keep everything, and literally push a button and print a transcript. So for me, that's huge because I don't want to be playing catch up his 12th grade year trying to do all this. So I use Homeschool Tracker online for both of them. It's just easier. So for Austin, he has a loose plan for the day, or for the week. He has all of his assignments for the week are given to him on Monday. He has the option of deciding how he wants to structure that. If he wants to do 4 lessons of history all in one day and put off science until tomorrow, he can. Now, there are rules to that. The first one is he has to be working on something when we're doing school. Number 2, if he puts off a bunch of stuff that he knows he has trouble with towards the end of the week and suddenly needs my help, I might not be available. So he has to wait until I'm available. So I've finally kind of convinced him that things that he thinks he might have trouble with, he needs to come to me early in the week with, or make sure that I know early in the week, hey mom, I'm gonna need help with this, so that I can let him know when I'm available. There's 4 of them and they're all doing school, so he has learned that. The other caveat to that is if Friday afternoon, if you ask to go to your friends and I go check your schoolwork for the week, if there's anything not done or anything that is not completed properly, you spend your weekend redoing your schoolwork or finishing it. Brody, I have to stay on top of a little bit more. He's much more my personality. So I have to kind of stay on top of him and say, hey, you have to do X, Y, and Z today. Tomorrow you have to do this, this, and this. It just works better. It's less arguments. It's just better. We are transitioning, since this is his 8th grade year, we are transitioning more towards how I do Austin. But right now, we're not there. So a plan, a loose plan. Have a loose plan, but have a plan. Some people need a more detailed plan. I don't work well under the constraints of a detailed plan. I just need a loose plan. Number 4, a sense of humor. You have to have a sense of humor to homeschool your kids, or you're going to go insane. Homeschooling is absolutely one of the best blessings that God has ever bestowed on our family. And I don't say that lightly. We love our homeschool lifestyle. But y'all, things get crazy sometimes. I have 4 boys. It gets nutty around here a little bit. Sometimes people like to talk about body parts. Sometimes we get the giggles because somebody has gas at the table. I mean, you have to have a sense of humor or you're just going to make yourself crazy. Life is too short to be serious all the time. Giggle with your kids over silly stuff. I have the sense of humor of a 13-year-old. I have no problem with this. But you have got to have a sense of humor. I have one child who is very ADD, and some days his ADD and my ADD butt heads. You have to be able to laugh and brush it off. And that leads me to the absolute number 1 thing I absolutely must have in order to have a successful homeschool day: prayer. There is no way around it. If I don't start my day out right with prayer, if I don't pray over our homeschool, if I don't pray over the attitudes in this house, if I don't pray over my attitude, it's not going to work. We can do all the academics in the world. I can make my kids memorize everything in every book. I can make them know every president's birth date and birthplace and their second cousin's sister's name. But what good is that if my family is not a God-honoring family? What good is that if my kids don't know who to ultimately turn to when things get rough? So every single day, you better believe you need to pray over your kids, you need to pray over your homeschool, and you need to pray that God would show you what He has for your family, because He's going to have something different for every homeschool family. Prayer gets the day right. Prayer makes it all worth it, and you remember why you're doing this in the first place. So that's my list of 5 things that lead to a successful homeschool day for me. And that being said, I'm going to go get started. Have a great day.